Hi, thanks for joining me. In this video, we'll be making another Christmas card. I just want to open your mind up to all the possibilities. And with these Christmas cards, we're using wrapping paper. So it takes a whole lot of stress off of you trying to sketch or draw something, and you can't get it quite right. We always want to relax when we do these. If we make any mistakes, we just incorporate it in the painting. That way it's fun. There's nothing that you can do so wrong that we can't salvage it to make a nice greeting card. So let me show you what I did. You will need, of course, some wrapping paper. So that's what I had, a piece of wrapping paper here. You also need a Christmas card made out of art paper, using either watercolor paper or mixed media paper because it will hold up to water and paints. Cut it out to the desired size, or you can cut it out to a postcard. And postcards, I think, measure about 4 by 6. You paint on one side, you write on the other. So you need some scissors to cut this out. You also will need some paint. You need a palette, a little water. You'll need some school glue, not the glue stick, and you'll need a couple of paint brushes. And remember, these are craft items that you can get from your local 5 and dime or dollar store. You don't need to go out and invest a lot of money in something. You can make some gorgeous little cards. And of course, I'm going to use a piece of plastic wrap, saran wrap, or you can also use a piece of a plastic garbage bag, the shopping bag, grocery bags, or you can use a sandwich bag. It doesn't matter, you're just going to crumple it up and use that. So cut this out, be meticulous about it, cut it out. As you notice on this one, when I cut it out, I did not cut out those antlers. I don't want those on there. I'll draw those in because it's really hard to cut this stuff out, and I don't want to get frustrated with that. So I've already cut that out. Now I have my card here. With the card folded, it makes it difficult to really work with it because it keeps opening up. So just open it up and lay it flat. Remember to make sure it's the side that is going to open. I'm recycling another card that I had previously used. We're going to do the background first, and then we're going to glue on the reindeer. All right. So what we're going to do, since this is, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a reindeer here, and I'm going to have what appears to be a pine tree, but it'll be sort of like a holly bush. The colors I'm going to use will be white, blue, green, and red. I'm going to take my paintbrush and take a lot of white. I like these flat surfaces and not those little wells because it makes it easier to clean and mix your paints. And I'm going to add a little blue in that. I'm going to get that. I'm going to add a little white to it. Water to it, just to get it watery, because I don't need a whole lot of paint on there. And now I'll crumple up my plastic, and I'm going to put it in this watery blue, like that. And I'm going to just lightly touch all over, so it'll look like snow falling. If you need to dip it back in there, dip it back in there. It gives you all these weird looking shapes. And I don't need it on the ground because, of course, I want the ground to look different than the snow that's falling. So that's the snow falling. I'm going to put the little reindeer somewhere like in here. So this will be the ground area. I'm going to bring that snow because I want the ground down here. Let's see. Let me go ahead and put the ground on there. He's going to be here. And I don't really need it, what do you call it? I don't need it hilly. So just a little of that, and then I rinse that off. And while I still have that water on that brush, don't dry the brush off. I'm watering this down. I want it to go side to side horizontally so it'll look like the ground. I'm not coloring in every area. I just want part of it colored in. And that means I can take my crumpled up plastic and put it back in the blue and come right in here and get this spot there. That way I came down far enough. That's all that's needed. I love using the plastic from grocery bags because, of course, a lot of people do not recycle those. You can, but a lot of people don't recycle them. So you can just cut them up in little rectangular sections or rip them up and use them for painting. All right, that's there. And it's drying. I didn't use a whole lot, but I wanted enough on there so that you can see it. It's drying, and I apologize. What I didn't tell you you needed was a piece of scrap paper. Anytime you're using wrapping paper, you're going to glue something on, you need a piece of scrap paper so that the runoff glue, excess glue, is on your paper and not your work surface. Remember, use paper or wrapping paper from last year. You don't have to go out and buy wrapping paper. However, if you see a great looking wrapping paper and you think that will make some gorgeous Christmas cards, by all means, grab it. But you don't have to spend a lot for it. So this saves you from spending a ton of money on greeting cards. So that means you don't want to spend a lot of money on wrapping paper. If you can get this wrapping paper after Christmas for $1 or 75 cents or even cheaper, grab it. All right, so now I'm going to take my finger and spread the glue around all the way on the bottom so that it goes all the way to the edges. You need it all the way on the edges so that it sticks down on the card. And be careful because it will curl up. And when it curls up, it is so delicate, it will rip. And that you don't want to happen, so be really careful about it. Now I'm going to move this to the side, and I'm going to place my reindeer. I don't want him too far away. I'm about to have an accident over there. And then lightly press it down. Right here, the 2 feet, legs crossed. Just lightly brush it down. And it sticks right to it. It doesn't take long to stick to it, trust me, because it's an extremely thin layer of glue. So it's on there. Nicely done. Now all I need to do is put my tree in here. And I don't really need to see the tree. So I'm going to take the flat brush and I'm going to mix the green and the red. It will give, you want to use a little bit more green than red because the tree is green. Red and green are complementary colors. They will give you a brown, but it will give you a dark green before it turns brown. And that's what we want. That would be your evergreen. So now I'm just going to come down and make it look like there's a sort of, doesn't have to be perfect because it's not really a pine tree. But enough. See how dark, rich that looks, that color. And now I'm going to come on top of that with a little of the light green. That lighter green, because I want it to look like it's a holly bush. These don't have to be perfect, but I need it to look like sort of like a holly bush, that color. Evergreens may have berries on them too. Some of them, I'm not too sure. So now that is there, and it looks like it's just floating. I'm going to fold this back over so see if that looks right. It looks okay, but it kind of looks like something's coming out at it. So I'm going to go ahead and mix some more red into this color. I got enough green on there. I'm going to mix some red in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little more of this. I'm going to go ahead and create a brown. And with that, I'm going to just eke in here a trunk. You see that? And now with the skinny brush, that skinny brush, I can come in and make it look like branches. The branch that's within that the greenery is covering. Don't need any more than that. That's it. It needed to ground it. So now I'll come in here. I need this, well, it doesn't have to be so much. So it doesn't have to go right to his mouth. It can just look like he's coming to eat. You want that to dry. And all I'm doing is making it bush out. These separate ones bush out a little bit so it doesn't look like a pine tree. And making it look a little fuller up here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now this deer has to be grounded, which means we need some, I'm going to use blue because it's going to be in the snow and we need a little shadow on it. So I'm going to use some of the blue. Let me open this back up because I'm having to hold it flat. So now I've painted everything that I want on there. And now all I'm going to do is add a little detail here and there to make it look more realistic or believable. So I'm going to take a little of that white and a lot of that blue to get that. And some water. A lot of water. I want to see a great deal of water. And now I'm going to come under here, underneath the deer. I'm not going to echo his shape totally. I'm just going to go from each foot inward. And then here, I'm just going to now I'm going to rinse that off. And I'm going to wipe it on the side of the cup so I have still got a lot of water on there. It's sort of making it a kind of roundy body. That looks almost like his tail or that thing flapping in the wind. And so now all I'm going to do is I have his face right here. It doesn't have to look perfect, just enough so you can tell it's up there. Remember, the shadow mimics the object, so I don't want to give too much form to it, though. That's good enough. Looks like the sun's going that way. And we're going to add some berries or something on there. And we're going to add antlers to him there. You can do an eye if you want. Get fancy with it. Now I'm going to add some snow onto those branches. And I'm going to take a chunk of paint, and of course I'm going to add it here just a little bit here, so it looks like the wind may have chunked some over there. You won't see much on here unless the wind was blowing really hard. You may see some stuck to the side, but we're going to, and all I'm doing is tapping it on. And you need enough on there so that it's believable. And so it's all spaced out there. We'll just have to join it together, especially like right there. And it's okay to have chunks of snow here and there. Some join together, chunk here, goes out. I'm not covering all the greenery, but I want it to look like it was snowing, really snowing. It's cold, it snowed, and the deer is scrounging for food. And you can see some of the branches sticking out from where the snow is. I could have even added a little blue to that here and there. Not much, just a touch here and there. Because the blue is going to be the reflection of the sky color. And I'm going to use, I don't know if it's going to show up well on that or not, now that I'm looking at it. I have silver and I have gold. And I think it would have shown up really nicely on the background of if it was dark. So what I'm going to do is scoop up that red paint. And dot it. And hollies, usually when you paint them, they have 3 little dots. So the ones that are going up higher will be smaller dots. And if it's hard for you to hold your hand steady with that, just use the base, the handle of the paintbrush. Let me show you how you do that. You just put the handle of the paintbrush in your paint and dot it. 1, 2, 3, really lightly. And you'll get those 3. Up here you may not be able to see it so well, so I'm going to put like super close together. Here and there, it doesn't have to be super full because another deer could have come along, or a squirrel, or I don't know if squirrels eat those, a bird, and could have eaten some of those holly berries. I was going to put silver ones, but I think that will look much better like that. And let's see if we can put some gold antlers on this reindeer. This is one of the acrylic paint pens. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking here, the antlers came from behind the ear and curled upward. So you have to be confident when you do this. See that? And if you want to add more, you can. But that's pretty cute right there. I like that. I would have put one right over this, because it looks like usually well, this has to be dry. So I'll leave the 3 there. And if you want, you can do the fancy thing and give it, using a paintbrush or an ink pen, and just give it an eyelash. You don't even have to draw eyes. See that? The eyelash is done with like a smiley face, and then do curve them, curve them, curve them. That's an eyelash. You just give a hint of it. You don't have to be perfect in what you do if you just give hints. And there we have it. That was cute. I like that. That is really cute. And if you have glitter, you can sprinkle glitter on this wet paint here. Or you can actually paint glue on the body of the reindeer and sprinkle glitter on there. But wait till the paint dries. Okay, thank you for joining me. Until next time.